And with that, let's start. Sup? Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Streaming Rainbow. This is
Whoa.
the end of the rainbow for Guild Fantasmagoria Reincarnation. We played Bound by Caden Ramstack. Technically we played Bound and then but it's like bound together because we played the two version
Bound together.
yes, two version game. Yeah, I'm Cam. You can use any and all pronouns to, talk to me, talk about me. That's pretty much the only things you would, if you want to write a novel, that's not talking. You would probably use any pronouns there as well. You can, find me just floating around, streaming Rainbow, one of them cool little DMs. Get in the Discord. Come on, join the conversation. Apply to be in some games. Inferno is going to run until the ends of time and we're all actually in hell. So keep applying to that. But if you don't join the Discord, you're not going to be able to play with us unless, you DM us directly. But anyway, hypotheticals aside, the Discord is a good community. That's what we're trying to build here. I think that's all I gotta say. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm Keller.
Beautiful. I love it. Keller, just like starting things off. This is your first time doing one of these end of rainbow things. So how was this? How was this process for you? This is just a little informal talk back. We'll go over the show, maybe go on a few tangents.
Yeah. It was pretty sudden of a vibe, which this game lends itself to, which was really cool. I enjoyed how much the vibe was just like, we have to answer these 3 questions and then we go, right? It's not spending a week or two building a character and writing a backstory and discovering what the character needs in order to tell a story. It's telling a story in order to discover who the character is, which was really cool. It honestly seemed like a writing tool.
Oh, definitely.
We got to as a game rather than do the work of creative writing.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely.
Uh,
I totally can like see
yeah.
this as like a game you would play if you wanted to like write a story or something. Cuz like especially because it is written to be a one person game. Um
Yeah.
so this I think lends itself to be like a whole slew of things. But I mean, look, we wrote fucking an entire series of shows just playing this game. But like to expound
Yeah.
upon that, I wonder where it would go. You could totally just do this for like character after
For a
character after
living.
character. Yeah. Oh, for a living, probably. Yeah. I mean,
We just read books doing this.
yeah. Give Caden some money. Caden Ramstack. He wrote this thing. They wrote this. Yeah.
Yeah. The next big like fantasy author is gonna have to give Caden some like royalties.
Honestly, if we help do that, I'll be happy. I'll die happy.
Yeah. Yes, and then the last episode session that we had really kind of was the epitome of that feeling. I know it's wrong, but I like epitome more.
I like epitome.
In that, I was very much like morning of coming back from the class I was taking, like reading back through the notes from the character I had from the last week, where my Wi-Fi meant I had to drop out earlier, and then we were gonna try again, and then I just got a text from Cam being like, "Nope, you're not playing that character. That's already been done. You're playing this. You're playing you, just Keller O'Malley." And then I was on the bus getting that, be like, okay, that's hard. But and then you just kind of do it, which really was like went along with the feeling of how sudden this game was, uh, in a way that's very fresh and very new and a little bit freeing, which is cool.
A little weird introspection, like it can be if you play yourself. But you were playing a different version of yourself.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know. You got an interesting job, that's for sure.
Yeah. 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 How was this for you?
Oh, it was so much fun. Like I have been like watching these back, just seeing just how goofy we are and how then just I think you hit the nail on the head when you said sudden. The change in like the emotional states were really really cool and like very reminiscent of like a real like living breathing relationship between these two people. Like I don't know how many times we went on a tangent about Elsie the board and milk cow. Uh but
Oh, yeah.
it was oh my gosh, it was so fucking
You
funny.
have to,
But
you have to text me a picture of that because I had no idea who that was.
oh yeah, I just like showed up like like me pulling up my iPad and but it's like it
Yeah.
was very like two brothers, right? Something so stupid and insignificant had like such weight in their relationship.
Yeah.
Oh my but oh, that was the like the 4.5 hour set like game that we played.
Dude.
We like glad we broke it up into two parts.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
you
okay.
know,
I didn't know that's how we were doing it. That's cool.
oh yeah, it's already out. So it was technically we're filming
Yeah,
this
I haven't
before the
watched it.
second part came out, but you know, yes.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Um,
total.
I was talking to my sister about that particular episode about a book both of us were supposed to read for high school, uh, uh, that we were assigned to read. That I did read a couple of years after it was assigned to me, after writing a paper on it. You know how we do.
Here's how you do.
Um, called Papillon, which is French for butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
Because this dude had the main character of the book had a butterfly tattoo, and the whole like story of the book is him going to a prison. Uh, 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 and there's a big section of the book in which he's in solitary confinement, and it's just about him pacing back and forth. The movie version of this, he has a little rubber ball that he just bounces against the wall, right? And in the book, the editor put um, a disclaimer for a specific group of like 20 pages where it's like, hey, you don't actually have to read this. There's no plot development, but you can. He's in solitary, because the idea is the author wanted the audience to feel like they were in solitary confinement. So they just wrote basically similar things over and over of that experience of the torture of nothingness, and of just being stuck and just moving forward. And I was feeling that very much for that second episode because we couldn't get any tokens
Yeah.
for so, and the story therefore became we're just stuck here, and then we were stuck in a similar way to how the characters were stuck,
Yeah, like
because the cards fuck.
the
But
cards.
yeah,
No, that's the theme. That's the tagline of this game. The cards
yeah,
just no. And like
yeah.
now do the cards know or are the cards driving us? I don't know. It gets
I know.
it's a good writing exercise. It's great world building and character
Yeah,
development. Like the oh my gosh, there
yeah.
was one uh I think I think there was one instance in I think the first part of of the second game we played where oh my gosh, lost my train of thought. There was one instance that oh that's right. It's when the phone activated for the first time and it's like
Oh,
yeah, we established we are here for a year like this like we had been here for a long time, and then the phone opened and it was like, 3 days have passed. I but like just like moments like that are like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like the stagnant, the stillness, the uh,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was like I think we did it I think we did a great job. I think at least it was a lot of fun to do, right?
Yeah, there was a moment in there that definitely, like, the only fun to be had was the for me as a performer was like, this is ridiculous. We're still in this, and like it's going and it's long, and this is like, it wasn't the, like, there were nerves of like, is this going to be entertaining? And it is. Go watch it. It's so entertaining.
It is.
I don't know. I haven't watched it. Um,
You can't say
but
that.
I'm sorry. We can cut
It's
that
okay.
out.
It's all on video on demand. If you haven't seen it yet and you're watching this,
I will. I will. I saw the first one. Um, but like, um, it was just so well matched to the vibe of the characters, which I've never had as an actor. Like, you don't. That's the point of the craft, is putting yourself in a situation that you were very clearly not in, and then doing it again and again is the first time. The very obvious, like, first thing. But you didn't have to do that because you were just locked in. It was so wild. I did watch the first one, and I had to take a break because kept getting really embarrassed.
no.
I kept getting really embarrassed of every time I had to pick my computer up this far away from my face so I could see, because my eyes are getting bad and
Oh,
my
you
old
texted me
age.
about that. I thought you meant you kept bringing the computer up to your face when you were watching our video.
No, no, like, on stream, there's just
Yeah.
footage of me like basically doing the, ooh, what,
I mean, you're
got it,
looking at
you
a
know?
PDF on your phone and you don't want to like lean into it because then you'd be off screen. So I get it.
Yeah, it was a lot. My laptop.
Mm,
Yeah, I was. I got really embarrassed.
no. I'll do that too. Like that's the reason I had like my iPad the whole time is so I can just like hold it this close to me.
Yes.
You don't I mean, it does look
No, I just
like you're
feel
an
that.
old person, not gonna like no tea.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's, yeah.
but
I'm just
you
not old
don't
enough yet
put
to
a
create.
book across the room from you and read it. If you're reading text, it makes sense to have your computer close to your face.
I mean, I know some people who can. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Who's that
well,
dude from summer camp? Who's that dude from summer camp who? Oh, he was so blonde. Um, I'm not gonna know it, but basically, we were doing the mile. He's a quarter of a mile away from kids in the water, and he could tell who every single child was during the mile swim in the water.
wow. Nobody watching this
I
is gonna
didn't
understand that at all. But
look at that. That's okay.
small kids swimming in the water, keeping them safe. The little numbers are written on them so we can keep track of who they are and make sure
Yeah,
that
yeah,
but that's wild. That's insane. That he
very impressive.
obviously he wouldn't be embarrassed because he's superhuman, but
He
you
has
know,
superhuman eyes.
an
It's
average
insane.
human should
Said,
not be embarrassed because they fit in with a crowd.
yeah, I'm just usually embarrassed.
Which is real. I think that's really okay. Well, I don't think you usually being embarrassed is interesting, but I think it's an interesting concept of like, uh, uh, being embarrassed because you fit into something. Uh,
Yeah. What is that line from Spring Awakening? The dude, uh, shame is a uniquely human concept.
mm,
We invented shame.
yeah,
We
awful
invented
sweet.
it. We're really
Be a
good at it.
little butterfly.
Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
It's a sad
Make me
joke.
cry.
Oh,
It's the saddest. Well, it's one of the saddest show I've ever seen.
did I ever tell you that my undergrad did uh, Spring Awakening, but with tap shoes? I think the theme was interesting. It was to like make their bodies the percussive instruments, but honestly, uh,
Like the
I don't.
gunshot
I
is
don't do
just.
sadness as a tap solo is so wild.
That's the goofiest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I don't do sadness. Not even a little bit.
A whole group tap number for the guilty ones. Now our bodies are the guilty ones.
That's the whole
It's a
group tap
can line.
number was
It's a can line for funeral.
uh no, the whole group the group tap number was totally fucked.
That makes sense. It's a great song.
It is a great song, and also it really worked well with the tap shoes because it was very angry
I
stumping.
bet it did.
It was like watching
Yeah.
Stop. So
Oh yeah. Cool.
you know,
How did we get here? What are we talking about? We'll cut this out. Don't worry.
we don't have to. This was interesting.
Yeah. No, that's just my new gag for this
We'll cut it out.
conversation.
We'll never cut it out.
Yeah.
It's all good. Okay.
Cut out
So
everything
speaking of
that's
that, that's in an
unsaid.
episode. That's in an your aluminum foil ball. I saw that and I was like, I really just like want to do a little aluminum foil ball update with Keller.
Oh,
Wait, how's
did
it
we keep
going?
that in?
Yeah, we did. I clipped it.
My aluminum foil ball?
Mm-hmm. Do you have it?
I'll go get it.
Yes. Aluminum foil ball update. Post campaign. I can't wait. This is what it's like being in solitary confinement. Day in, day out, pacing and pacing.
My aluminum foil ball.
It's so shiny.
It's very shiny. I haven't worked on it at all since last y'all have seen it. Still some cracks, but all really I can do is just hit it with a hammer a bunch of times and hope that the cracks don't get worse. But I think they will continue to get worse. And then eventually I'm going to sand it with an orbital sander that I don't have. So I'm going to need to borrow someone else's. And then that either will make it very smooth and shiny and very cool and almost reflective, or it will tear all the outside pieces off and then it will just crumble.
Wow.
High risk, high reward. But it's so heavy.
High reward.
Look. Yeah.
My
aluminum foil ball.
I actually don't know how much it weighs based on that.
Look.
If I look at it,
yeah,
a couple ounces.
I think it's almost a pound.
What?
I think it's almost a pound, yeah.
Okay. Deal.
Like,
that is heavy.
But it's over half a pound.
It was over half a pound?
Maybe. Oh, I have a bathroom scale. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it's heavy enough to make the bathroom
That is the scale
matter.
to use. Is the one to weigh humans.
Okay. It registers as 0.0 pounds.
That makes sense.
I know what to do.
I know what to do. Get
I'm gonna weigh myself.
With the ball and without the ball.
With the ball. So with the ball.
Mm.
Okay. And now without the ball. So it's 0.3 of a pound.
Incredible.
So almost half a pound. I was very wrong. but almost half a pound.
I was gonna say a full pound for that ball. Now, if you can get your hands on a food scale,
It's really dense.
you'll really know.
Yeah, because it's really dense. You
Well,
know, because every layer I pound it tight,
which is high
and
risk,
then
high
just like
reward.
wrap it up. High risk, high reward.
I'm gonna need an update when it's orbitally sanded.
Okay.
But no, I love that. I love I
I'll
loved the
put
aluminum
pictures
ball
in the
update.
Discord.
Get in the Discord.
I'll put pictures in the Discord so everyone can see it. So you have to join the Discord. Join the Discord.
Boom! Join the Discord. It's in the link tree. It's
Yeah.
super easy. If you don't like us, mute us.
It's
But
free. Is it
I'm
free?
pretty sure you're gonna like me.
Everyone likes Cam.
That's
Is it
not
free?
true. 100%.
Dude, it's so
You don't
free.
have to. You don't even
Oh,
have
yeah.
to get Discord Boost or Plus or whatever.
I didn't know that was a thing.
See, and you're in the Discord.
I'm in the Discord. I am in the Discord. Yes.
You are in the Discord.
Took a pause for a moment. Yes, I'm not a big computer person. Yeah. So cards.
Cards.
Do we draw?
You want to draw?
I have to go get my deck.
I dropped the card. I can't pick it up. do 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 do.
My deck.
Yay! I already drew.
Draw a card. It's my student ID.
You.
You already drew?
I did.
9 of hearts.
Ace of diamonds.
Ooh. Ace
So that
beats everything
means-
but 2.
I get asked the first question.
Oh yeah.
I guess the next question.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your favorite character to play?
The first one for sure. I can't remember her name. I can't remember any of their names.
I know
have
her
my notes in
name.
front of me.
I know her name.
Okay.
I have my notes in front of me. I think it was Penelope.
It was.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But I want to know her full name.
Yeah, it was certainly Penelope. Just like how getting to be the one who is frustrated with the other person's lunacy is so fun for me. It's not what I normally do, and it is quite fun. And also, like, it was the most, I think, like the game that we played. Whereas in later episodes, it seemed to get just so, we're actors, we're performers, we want to just play this, we're improvisers, we just want to play the scene, you know? Which I think is, we just did a lot of, I feel, the perfect matches, you know? Like, as far as I know from the PDF, it kind of says you'll only really run scenes on a perfect match.
Yes.
But we just did it all the time because it's more fun for the way that we like to do things. So it felt very novel, that one in particular. And also it was just, I saw that world so well, you know? It was fantastic. I really liked Penelope.
I really liked Penelope too. I think that was like a really dynamic and character who grew so much. And I think it really hit home and like really started out what the pattern or like the theme that we wanted to establish was like the relationship of like power, right? Like the power dynamic between like a two-person relationship, like a supervillain and a sidekick, or a henchman and a
Yeah.
superhero and a sidekick. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was really really like interesting, to say that you were like the quote unquote straight man of the game. I don't know. Really, I think contextualizes what the relationship of power is. It's like somebody who is not worried about their station, who is not worried about money or how like they are even perceived because it will not affect the way they live their life, is probably the more eccentric one because they have more leniency to do whatever they want, more like leeway to get away with things. Whereas like Penelope like grew up and like pulled herself up by the bootstraps. Like her brother was like
Mhm.
the black sheep of the family. So she had to be like pragmatic and straightforward and fall in line with like the society. Pretend to be something that she's not, so that she can survive. So I think that's like really interesting.
Yeah. It's the status always is going to bring me back to clown, as most things will. But I love status and clowns because it's very obvious how there are high status clowns and low status clowns. And then there are clowns who exist outside of that, right? Who don't understand it, who don't like it, just doesn't matter to them and does not really impact the rest of the clown status except to bring down the high status clowns. Um, but it's like high status clowns can always fall, and they will always fall. Low status clowns can become beloved, and therefore the audience will put them on a pedestal and often bring them up in status sometimes. Oh, but Pulcinella never will. But clowns that exist outside of it, who the eccentrics, the ones that it just doesn't really matter that much, will always be higher status. You know, will always inevitably be the ones who bring everyone down in status accidentally through no fault of their actions, just through their push through the world, you know, that pokes at all of the institutions that create that status, you know. Your character certainly was poking at like the concepts of dress to create status, right? Of suddenly we were walking through the fucking mud. Penelope is this person who built herself at the very high status, and now, oh fuck, this all of this. But your character, whose name I can't remember, doesn't give
Evelyn.
a shit. Evelyn, thank you. Evelyn just does not care at all, right? And so her walking through the mud, ruining her clothes, does not bring her status down in the same way it did for Penelope. You know,
Yeah.
God, I love clown.
It's a caricature of real life.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be funny if we didn't see ourselves in it.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that was your favorite character. I think
yeah.
my favorite character to play was ooh, this is really hard. I think it was probably um I think it was probably Lila. And like a lot
Yeah,
and a lot
because I wasn't.
you were in it though. You were in it the whole time, and I don't know. You might have looked a little different, but you know, for all that was you. You
No, I that character as well was so heartbreaking. Oh my gosh,
well, so like playing
I don't know
Lila.
what happened.
I know you. Yes, you do. You were there. I don't know what you're talking about.
I was
Um,
there.
yeah. So anyway, so Lila was my favorite character because I think of the same reasons that you liked Penelope. Like uh Clementine, her mom, was the one with the higher status. Uh
Yeah.
Lila was like is always trying to strive towards something. And I think that's a really interesting relationship, because it's not. It's like it's very opposite of Evelyn and Penelope, right? Because Clementine didn't come from money, built herself up. Lila has always had money. So it kind of eliminates money as like the driving factor uh, uh, of social status.
Yeah.
So then if that's eliminated, what are we commenting about? Right? Is it care? Is it uh like like I just like power over people, but then how is that like quantified?
It's also like huge family dynamics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the manipulation of the inherent manipulation of parenthood, you know, which is not a bad thing necessarily. Manipulation has a really heavy connotation, but like there's a lot of inherent power you have over children even as they become adults.
It's developmental. It stays with you. It bleeds into all other relationships. I think it was a very like if we're talking about high status and low status or higher status and lower status relationships, it's definitely something that was important to touch on. Like, because not only did we do Clementine and Lila, we also did Jason and Kevin, who is
Yeah.
also a family dynamic, but a very like different family dynamic because it's
Yeah,
siblings as
super
opposed.
cooperative siblings that like did well together surprisingly.
Yeah, of like yeah,
Through
their challenges like to the
yeah,
I loved Jason, like discovering in Jason that he's afraid to make decisions, that even though he's the
yeah,
older brother relies on
yeah,
Kevin so much.
yeah. Also, the Clementine and Lila engaged in their sort of work, the way they went about the world, in very similar, if not the same way, especially in regards to status.
Mhm.
Right? Jason and Kevin were super different people. Um, and both of them engaged with the world in a very different way. Jason through like the punk and the toughness and the sort of just move and the confident existence, you know, and just like I'm here, I'm right here. I don't need to do that thing because I'm here, right? And my friends are gone. Fuck. Um, and Kevin through the intellectualism, but then Clementine and then Lila basically following the same path and then watching where that status went. Fascinating.
Um, I think while we're on this game, uh,
Yeah.
all jokes and all like theatrics and editing and uh, storytelling aside, you did not finish this game.
No.
Like we brought in so like in Guild Phantasmagoria fashion,
The
like
Wi-Fi was fucked.
the Wi-Fi was fucked, but also
The bag over
like
my
it the the narrative and like technical decision to use the end of this game to like facilitate the next game, I think
dude.
was a
Wild.
was a good. I think it was like
So cool.
a happy
Yeah.
happenstance. Like
So cool.
we brought River in. I don't know if you know River, but River has been on a couple of other shows. But yeah, we brought River in, and River essentially played you playing Clementine. So it really set
Yeah.
up going into the
And then
last game.
I played River playing me,
Yeah,
who
maybe,
had played the
maybe.
next one.
Who's to say? Like I liked being able to tie in the other two seasons of Guild Phantasmagoria, um,
Mhm.
and showcase kind of like the true setting of where we were before like just jumping into the last game, because like having the glitching in and out of River playing you, and oh my gosh, River just absolutely jumped in head first. Their play style is very similar to yours. They're also a clown. Like they do a lot of clowning. Like
Ooh.
in New York, they go to like clown meets, and I'm probably not doing this justice at all, but it looks so cool. But so their like play style was the same. Like jumped in, wanted to just do scenes,
Yeah.
and I think that's great. I think as long as like we stuck to the meat and bones of the game, whatever else we say is just extra. We're still playing the game. We're just inspired to do more, and I think it's lovely
Yeah.
how much this game inspires us. And speaking of inspired, I went on a tangent, but yeah. So we brought River in, and they played Clementine, and their Clementine was like really hitting like the dark aspects of this manipulation. I loved like the contrast of like getting to play the daughter to somebody who was literally two different people.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Yeah.
It honestly like fucked me fucked me up when I was in like Lila's mental state. Like
Yeah.
uh uh I was going to say spoiler, but if you have not seen the episodes, why are you watching this? Um Spoiler for you, Keller, because I know this episode technically has not aired yet, but
Yeah.
Lila ends up killing Clementine.
Cool.
The we didn't touch like the fray was something that we talked about not wanting to be on screen, not wanting to be like described narratively, just like in world, maybe the characters see it. We never got to it. You and me. We never got
Yeah.
to the vampire being on board the train. It
Yeah.
honestly was a very last like beat. So the entire game was just about their relationship in these like couple of hours before
Yeah.
uh Lila murders Clementine. And I think we did a good
Yeah.
job of
And then
like,
the vampire shows up, but it's actually just a bat that flew around. Is that pretty much it?
well, we never saw the vampire. The vampire was like a
Yeah.
voice, a presence, a feeling, a drawing. Like it
Mm,
was
yeah.
implied that there was a coffin
So
in like
cool.
the cargo hold, and like we even stopped the train, got off the train, and were still drawn back to that area.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, wow, because this Penelope kills Evelyn, right?
In the first one, no.
No,
Um, Penelope's brother kills Penelope.
that's right. That's right. Oh wow.
Which was so because the cards know, and then right after Penelope was dead, the very last draw was, and I've told this to all my friends that have been like watch the show. This so exciting part of like it is that I've been talking loosely about, trying to not give spoilers, is why the cards know, is when suddenly the prompt is is one of you is trying to tell a story that they only half remember, but the other one knows perfectly. Why aren't you letting them speak? Why aren't you letting them tell the story? Why aren't they the person who knows the story, telling it better? And then I read that exact question. I think it's the only time we didn't like use it as a prompt, but I just read the exact question to which you just like were like, "Oh, you're dead. I'll tell you the story again now." And oh, I cried. It was so good. It was so good.
Oh wow. Yeah. It was so fun. I love this game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Hmm. Do you want to draw again?
Oh, yeah. Let's draw.
I just put the ace at the top of it, so I have to reshuffle.
I know my card.
8
6 of clubs. Ooh, we got
Oh!
a matched suit. That's a unraveled token.
Oh, no.
You
Uh,
and I are unraveling. Yeah.
I guess technically I get to ask another question.
Yeah.
Um, what was your experience with like the very last game, just like jumping into that world that has like already been established, like it
Yeah.
was very removed from how the game is supposed to be played, because I think I knew like I had the world built already, and it was more of like
Yeah.
leading you through it
I had a dungeon master.
a little. Yeah.
Is my experience. Yeah. Um, which was fun. It felt very similar to when you're in like one of those low stakes like sessions of D&D, when the whole party is just trying to just trying to egg on the DM and just kind of trying to fuck with them a little bit, like a shopping episode, honestly. You know,
Hmm.
when it's like, oh, I have this thing now that will be the most powerful weapon in the entire world. And then most DMs are like, no, absolutely, this tiny shop doesn't have that. But Cam is like, yes, it's there. Yes, the like dragon ascended touch focus or whatever you're trying to get. Yes, it's there. Buy it. A world-ending weapon. It's there. You should buy it. You should have it. Cameron is an insane DM. It's fantastic. Um, but sorry if that's hurtful.
I
Um,
hated it. What the fuck?
but it felt like so much of just like I had to, because you knew so much more about this world than me, and the character you were playing was situated so well to know more about the world than me, right? The voice in my head, the guy in the chair kind of character, but maybe that was, maybe it wasn't it. I don't need to concern myself with spoilers in this moment. Um, uh, it really lent itself to you knowing more, and so it was hard to find a way for me to really give things to you as an improviser,
Hmm.
to make an offering of like something for you to build on and create on and to yes and to. And so the best way to do it was just to go full chaos, was just to go full, I can't do this thing. I don't know how to lead a fucking revolution, which is true for me as well. But like, you got to read the books, get on the Black Panther Party reading list, dog. Uh,
Yes.
but like, um, fuck, man, and so it had to be this like starting brawls and riots and really confusing the hell out of everything that's going on, and failing at the task and trying to get back into it and just leaving you behind sometimes, um, and not, yeah. What did that kind of give you as a person who had no physical access to the world, you know?
So this last episode was the one that I knew for sure was going to happen, because the
The whole time.
yes, of course, like the concept of like my when I like thought of like what do I want to like put out, what interests me about like tabletop role playing games, um uh is like the meta aspect of it, the why do these sets of rules lend themselves to the stories that we tell, and do changing the rules or changing the
Yeah.
way that we view the rules, does that affect the meat and the bones of the narrative and the story. In the first season of Sil's Guild Phantasmagoria, we played Dungeons and Dragons, and I gave two of the characters uh, a breakdown of aware of like just the narrative of what happens, like beat by beat, the plot, right? So that they could follow it and either change it because they already knew it or like keep it the same. And that was the only aspect of Dungeons and Dragons that I changed. And like the fact that they knew and got to like tailor their character to the world. And I brought in one person, Mindy, who did a fantastic job, being that I have no idea what's going on. I just live here. Let me follow like the the rails that you're putting out. And
Yeah.
was referenced, like was that's the person who got like brought out of their world into Scheherazade. In the second game, in the second season, it was Guild Phantasmagoria speed run. So I tried to play with, okay, what if everybody has the entire campaign? So I gave 3 players uh, Wilds Beyond the Witchlight, just the full campaign book. And I was like, you know
You played
everything
that?
that's going to happen. I'm just going to read through this book. However, you change it or don't change it will affect the story. And it was really interesting because, like, yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
uh,
Which is
it.
a more and more common experience for a lot of D&D players playing out of modules, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
everybody knows that Strahd is a vampire now,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
So, like, why?
And so if you play Curse of Strahd, like that's at least one spoiler from the book that everybody knows. But also a lot of people have read the book or know the story or have watched someone play Curse of
Mm-hmm.
Strahd. Still gonna play it,
And
you
it
know?
really, like, I think, just touches on the fact of like you cannot not metagame. Like what you like there was
Yeah.
I had a the very first theater
The
professor
rocks
I
are in front of
ever had said, and it wasn't the best context he said it, but it's something that like stuck with me. Um is I
you.
cannot unknow what I already know. And a lot of playing these like pre-made modules or even just like playing a popular game, like video game, tabletop role-playing game, whatever, if you do it enough, you know the narrative, you know what to do next. You cannot unknow what you already know. So like in the case of
Yeah.
Strahd, if you go and sit down at a table and you already know the plot to to, to the campaign, you have to
Yeah.
then it is socially accepted that you try as hard as you must to forget everything you know. And if you know something, to pretend like you don't know something, which I don't know. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just wanted to explore what would happen if we didn't do that. Would it still be an interesting story? How would the story
You didn't pretend.
change?
Yeah.
And in this case, the very last episode that we did, it highlighted so much of the theme that we were trying to highlight of high status and low status, because
Yeah.
the meta narrative was I had a higher status than Keller. Um,
Very clear.
Cameron knew exactly what was happening unless Keller
Yeah.
decided to mix it up or change it. And then that lent itself
I
to
think
like,
I only really did once.
I think you did. No,
You
it's really
know, like there
interesting.
was poking, there was chaos, but like I did that on purpose. I
Mhm.
knew I wanted one thing. Like as soon as it became this vibe of like, okay, I'm moving through this world. This person is guiding me, but I'm not really going to listen. I'm going to go along with the plan for the
Mhm.
most part. But there needs to be some big rebellion at the end unless we come together, you know, just based on the specifics of the game, because the game is, do you unravel, does the fray make your connection unravel, or do you get to your destination, you know,
Yeah.
and knowing kind of we always are going to unravel just based on the math of it. um because like there's more suit matches than rank matches. I knew there was going to be one big thing at the end because I couldn't figure out how to do little unravelings, you know, because you weren't physically there in space. Um, and so then, but then that big moment right at the end, though, of the fucking I have his book, you know,
Mm-hmm.
which I was gonna. Oh, sorry, did I interrupt a larger train of thought?
No. I was just following along.
I was gonna ask about that in the universe of Guild Phantasmagoria of this of Scheherazade of these things. Um, is Keller Matthew O'Malley now like as powerful as the devil?
No, like I think it's I don't know, because that's the thing.
Is
I
Keller Matthew O'Malley in that universe now?
Okay, so Keller, this I think this is great. This is like the next thing I wanted to talk about. It's like, yes, I have built a world. Yes, but then
Yeah, yeah,
I I I put this world into this game. This game, Bound, which is we've already established, great writing tool. So
yeah,
I essentially set myself up as a dungeon master in a game that has no masters. So bringing you into the game is not dungeon mastering you. It's okay, what are you going to fuck up about like the head canon that I already have? And so I had to go
yeah.
into it thinking
Character of Keller O'Malley, not who he
everything can
performed.
change, everything can change, and it's okay. Because right
Yeah, no,
now,
certainly.
yeah, because like right now, I'm not leading Keller through a story. I am
Yeah,
watching Keller write upon like a world that I've already built. It's like co-authoring a
yeah,
book when somebody has already done a lot of like the legwork. It is exactly like fucking improv, right? The UCB style of improv is finding the game. You stop yes anding once you have already built the base reality, and we start this game in the base reality. So like you said, you ramp it up with a lot of chaos because that's what you do to make it interesting. You heighten and you heighten and you heighten and you heighten. Yes, and is like it's no longer relevant, because you can say no, you can deny as long as it serves to heighten whatever is happening, whatever is interesting that is happening. And you caught on to that. You're like, okay, unraveling is probably the most like viable thing that's going to happen. So I will heighten the unravel.
right.
And so like it it was built like you built part of this world as well.
Yes, certainly.
And like I
Yeah,
did
I
my
guess my
damn
question
best to like rein it in to like, oh God, some of these events are canon in other like seasons, like the fire and the pizza
yeah.
party. Uh but I was just like, okay, cool. Like I gotta and and two, like just hearing you say all of that about how you are like know how the game works, know like
Yeah,
that if we get to a certain like it is more likely that we are going to unravel than reach our destination. You played the meta.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta prepared for the meta, and part of that as well is knowing me and knowing kind of how I function as a person as well. Really inspired some of the decisions of the character, but not many. But the meta decision to keep moving forward with it, and the more that like the vibe I feel like I was creating between Keller and uh,
Dan
the
Brookends.
person Dan. Was it Brookends?
I don't think I told you that, but his last name is Brook. He's a recurring character in all of the seasons. Yes.
Dan with Dan was the more chaotic I made it, and the more like I pissed him off, the more I was then able to be like, okay, what's the next step? Did I do it? Okay, are we good? We're good, right? We did it. I'm in there. I'm in there with you. and that the more we unraveled, the more like I got to chase the other character, you know? Just knowing that that's like a vibe in my personal life as well. But this is not for therapy for me. Um, but I feel like me knowing that I was playing Keller Matthew O'Malley, fuck, always weird. Didn't inspire in-game choices, but did inspire the meta choices, right? The choices of I think this is where this whole scene is moving, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really hard to like. It is a wild thing to be introspective enough to truthfully play yourself. That's
yeah,
and I don't.
impossible.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. Like it's
Impossible.
like we always play a character of ourselves.
Yes. Have you seen Helen? Have you ever of Masterclass?
Yes.
On the computers.
Mm-hmm.
Helen Mirren's acting masterclass.
Mm.
The first thing she did was enter on a stage, walk to center stage where there was a rug and a chair. Sat in the chair. She sat down. She walked onto stage, sat down, looked up at the camera, and said, I have now just done the hardest thing there is to do in acting, which is to walk across the stage and have a seat as yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely the hardest thing to do.
What's that joke? There when like Ian McKellen is being interviewed for I don't know, one of the Lord of the Rings. And they're like, how do you what is your process or whatever the hell? And he's like, oh, it's simple.
From Extras. Yeah, with Ricky Gervais from Extras.
Yes. And it's like set up as a joke, but it's like
if you were to write a graph of my progress, so Ian, action, wizard, you shall not pass, cut, so Ian.
And that's
what I do is I pretend to be the person I'm portraying in the film or play. You're confused.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
That it's so funny to people. Like they think it's such a big joke, but it is so profound. It is. Yeah. It is not a joke in the slightest. That is the full truth.
It's not that hard. It's not that complicated.
It's not that complicated, but it is so difficult.
Yeah.
They have
I just tell myself
this is a conversation we have a lot, and I know I go on tangents about a lot, but it is like the theory of art, right? The theory of acting. It is to see something that inspires us and to learn how to do it over and over and over again without messing up. That's it.
Yeah, there's that one part where he's like, how did I know what to say? The lines were written down on a page, but I didn't have the script on the day. You will not have the script on the night. It's so good.
Yeah.
But it's so simple.
So often, a lot of our thought processes are, why am I about to say the words I'm about to say? And you have to do the complete opposite when like you're acting like with a script, because you have to look at words and then think back, why did the person say the words that they were saying, and get into the mindset of how do I have to be? How does the moment before have to be for me to then speak the words on the page? And in order to do that, you have to fully become you have to fully become the character. Like you have to be the wizard, and then you have to go back to Sir Ian McKellen
and to be the character. It's
wild. Okay, we're past the hour mark, I think, so we can draw again, but I'd like to give you the last question if you want it.
Okay, let's draw.
Okay.
I was about to lie and say I drew the ace of spades.
What? Okay, let me draw.
I was literally about to lie and say I drew the ace of spades.
Well, 3. Hey, What does an ace
I
beat?
agree. Because an ace only beats a 2.
An ace only
Shit,
beats
no,
a
that's what I said.
king.
Yeah.
So once again, the cards fucking know.
Wow. Yeah. Last question. Uh, um, where do you want this story to fit in or not fit in, and or the game to fit in or not fit in with the future of Guild Phantasmagoria and Streaming Rainbow?
I think it already does fit in.
Yeah, I guess the impact on the
Yeah, I think
like where are we going?
I think the oh, where are we going? That's a good question. I have done something I think a lot of people would call lazy, but I don't believe in lazy. I believe in efficiency. Uh
Okay. Yep.
the world of like Scheherazade Guild Phantasmagoria is so convoluted, but it is like it boils down to it is a justification to do any type of story. Because the I think the British investigators, the kids in the maze, the night
Mhm.
train, those are all extensions. Yeah, I think the night train. Um, they showcase the stories that Keller, Matthew, O'Malley bookmarked into. And
Yeah.
like that's the last episode. It's not like, ooh, cool, weird new place. It is, oh, that's how everything fits together. Uh,
Yeah.
which like harkening back to like uh replacing you with River, that
Dude,
I think
incredible
helped
choice.
solidify it.
Incredible choice.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Incredible choice.
Well, honestly, it wouldn't even been a choice if River's talent didn't exist in this world. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So kudos to them. But at the very beginning of that episode, I told you I had a secret for you, and I never got to tell you the secret. I told River the secret, and the secret was
Oh,
like you are in hell. Like all the things that you have been doing have been part of this. Like Scheherazade, and I kind of like just essentially told them the plot of the next episode, or I told them like
oh yeah.
the conceit of the next episode.
Yeah.
So I think in a way this could go anywhere, but something that
Yeah.
I really enjoyed doing was that that switch of like, oh, this was somebody's like egg that they were carrying in the race, and now they have passed the baton off to somebody else, and they have to like pick it up. And we're doing that in Inferno too. If you're not watching Inferno every other Friday live,
It's really cool.
Eli DMs a Dante's Inferno esque D&D traveling through hell. And the cool thing is like they will switch out characters, and cut this if like that's a spoiler. But the next canto will pick up playing the same characters of the first canto and the third canto and the
Ooh,
fourth canto. So they're all playing the same characters, but they're holding them differently. They're
yeah.
experiencing the meta narrative differently. Uh,
Choices will be different.
and I
Yeah.
think like I would love to play off of that more of like maybe I fucking start the season and then I don't end the season.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of volume from
There is, but it's like
behind my
it's
wall.
it's casual. You're bathroom Keller right now.
Yeah. I'm bathroom Keller right now. Don't worry about it. We'll cut this out. Don't worry.
Okay, so then
You
my
will.
question to you, same question, but I guess different. But in the same vein, what would, if we had one more episode, what would you like to explore?
Of Bound Together, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or even if you like, we can play a new system too. I would give you that.
So the things that are the most interesting to me in these in TTRPGs in general, right, is how the not the rules of the game, but the rules of the universe function and impact the people in those worlds, right? There is no magic. There are no spells in the world that I live in, right? That I know and can cast. And no spells that have ever affected my life to my knowledge, right? Um, I started that sentence and then remembered witches and Wiccans are a real thing in our world. Um, and other people who use spells and spellcraft. But I have no connection to that, you know? Um, there are spells in D&D, right? If you're playing a Star Wars campaign, there's laser guns, you know? Like, that changes the way, like, characters and people interact and have to, you know, narratively. So, like, I would be so interested just in specifically in Scheherazade and that new relationship between Keller and I believe Mephistopheles um, is fascinating. And just a person who has shown themselves to be that chaotic and that not good at writing, right? Just wrote a blank page with words on it, right? Having a book of like a devil of that power, you know, and having that much like a sudden impact on a world, like what does that affect 20 years down the line, you know, like how does that change their jobs and the things of those people? Like those are the things that I'm most interested in. When the first time you DM'd for me uh uh with that I believe it was in Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah. You kept you kept having to be like, okay, so here's how magic works. There is the weave, that is the magic that exists. There is your ability to draw power from the weave, and then your ability to shape it into what you want, right? And you said other things like that, and that was always the most interesting to me, and how I can do that differently. You know, like how can I poke at that? The rules of the universe, right? That's my jam.
I think that's so cool.
Does that answer the question?
No, yes, that answers the question, and it just like adds another layer of what I love about like TTRPGs.
Yeah.
It is because
Yeah.
those concepts are,
And sci-fi and fantasy in general, right?
oh, absolutely. Yes. Like those
Yeah.
concepts of like you have to draw power from the weave. Like there is the thing, you draw power from it and then you shape it. It like that is wholly influenced by my interpretation of the rule, like the written meta rules of the game,
Yeah.
right? Like there.
And that is not necessarily true for every universe, every DM,
Mhm.
every like world that you DM, you know?
Yeah.
Like it can be different rules in different universes.
Yeah, and like
But
when I like not even like when I like dungeon master, but when I examine like the tools of how to play a game, I have to make sense of it narratively in order for
yeah,
me to like grasp upon it, right? So like
yeah.
there like and that definitely helps as a dungeon master, because if you have like in-game explanations for why these rules happen, you will always be able to explain them, and it will always be more interesting when they're broken.
And yeah, because it gives a target for your wizards.
It makes it malleable,
To,
right? It makes it malleable, and it makes it something that you can't just shirk off and say, well, it happens
does
because it happens.
yeah. Does the fact that also they come from the rules make it such that when things change, it it doesn't change to create chaos, it changes to create new ways for the players to interact with the world and each other?
Yeah. Like it doesn't completely destroy the axle of the car, like knocking it
Yeah.
off, like knocking the wheels off of it. It just it's like that's why I love like flavor. That's the whole game. It is
The only part of the Magic the Gathering cards I read.
okay. Are you getting into
The
Magic
little
the
flavor
Gathering as
text.
well? Like
No, I just read the cards and then I play the ones with the most interesting flavor text, and then people tell me you don't have enough mana to play that card.
like let's talk about a game that is all meta. That is Magic the Gathering. Uh,
Yeah.
but
It's all
that's a whole
rules.
that's a whole nother tangent, and we can totally maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll just play a game
Don't
of
worry, they'll cut that out. We'll cut that out.
we'll play a game of Commander one day on Streaming Rainbow. But uh, no, 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 no.
Of
Okay,
what?
of Commander. It's a style of play for Magic the Gathering. It's like standard. Like
Oh, okay.
okay, it's a 100 card deck. One of the cards is a legendary creature. Never mind. I will explain this to you. Not when we're on stream.
We'll
Uh,
cut this out.
okay, so what I was saying, the last thing I'll say about this is like I think the easiest way to explain how the meta directly influences the rules of the in-world game is talking about magic, right? Is talking about like the accessibility and how this magic is accessible. Um so like there are three different ways in Dungeons and Dragons, like three objective ways that magic is cast: through charisma, through wisdom, and through intelligence. And knowing that influences the way the spells are cast, who is casting
Yeah,
the spell, what the spell looks like. It gives you so much information on how to add flavor. Because like your charisma,
yeah,
right? That is your core, that is your will, that is your like excitement, and like how you like move through the world. Who is able to cast with charisma? Sorcerers and warlocks. People who beings who either draw within themselves magic that is already innate, or
yeah.
are able to like use their personage, their connection to somebody else to draw that power out. Like
I have a hard time with the words.
with what words?
With the words charisma and wisdom, right?
Mm,
Being two of the main stats, and it's one of the things that's kind of pushing me. It's one of the big things that's kind of pushing me towards other systems. Is these two specific words,
hmm
because charisma just doesn't, like, everyone who I've spoken to about charisma that hasn't played D&D for a long time is like, oh, it's how good you are at talking. You know what I mean? And it's how good you are at social interactions, which is not necessarily accurate to the game and
exactly.
what you need to be able to play the game.
hmm
And then wisdom, because I cast my spells through wisdom and I have such a high wisdom modifier, it means I'm never going to play a monk or a cleric for that long. You
Yeah,
know, because
right.
like the only and so for the only cleric I've ever played was 5 years old, and was terrified because he's a kobold, and so he was almost an adult, but and was terrified of everything. And the only reason he had a high wisdom score was because wisdom and perception are attached, right? So his wisdom had nothing to do with the classical understanding of being wise, but had to do with the ability to perceive danger.
Yeah, no, it's really
You know?
interesting. It's like the the definitions of the words charisma,
Don't
wisdom,
help.
intelligence don't help. Just based, but
Yeah.
but what informs the game and the gameplay and even the rules is how they interact with other words, is how they interact with other mechanics. Like,
And how you choose to understand them.
oh, I think like even like less of like choose to understand them, but more of like being able to decipher what is written out for you. Because wisdom, right? Um, I love that it is like connected to a monk, uh, and I love that it
Yeah.
is like
No, it makes
connected
complete
to
sense.
a cleric and the druids, because
Yeah.
those are some of the like best support classes. Wisdom is your connection with others.
Yeah. Monk? But yeah.
No, monk, you stun somebody. They like the monk's damage output is negligible compared to a paladin. Um,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
right? But
They're
like,
the martial wizards.
but yeah, their ability to set something up for somebody else, I think,
Yeah.
is
Point.
paramount, and
Yeah.
it yeah, because yeah, and I think it dwarfs all of like the other features to it. To stun, to move incredibly fast, um, like those are
Yeah.
really like supportive things, and like where the magic is
Yeah.
coming from, right? It is like the cleric's connection, devotion to something, right? Not like
Yeah.
what they can get from it, like a warlock, and uh and a druid's like connection and like to nature and how it is interwoven with them, and their circle, right? It's like their subclass is circle of, like they are a communicative group,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
really highlighted when you look at a paladin. A paladin is a charisma caster.
I was
It
just
is
thinking about
because they swear to uphold
make a
emotion.
promise.
They don't make a connection. They swear something. They say,
Make a promise.
this is something deep within me that I feel so much that I will always do it. And I will always do it for somebody else. But it's not like
Yeah.
that give and take like a cleric has.
Yeah. Or a warlock.
I think a warlock is just take. I don't know about give.
They have to give something, like their eyeball or a soul.
Yeah, but I don't think it is like as generous and as willing, right, as a cleric is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, yeah, clerics. I have always thought it interesting that if there could be there are skill requirements you have to hit to multi-class,
Mm-hmm.
but I think skill maximums would be more interesting.
Maximums.
Like a cleric being low charisma makes sense to me. You know, for some games, it wouldn't make sense for all games. But like a cleric doesn't ask their god for help. They're just so good at praying that they get magic. You know? Paladins are not inevitably inherently connected to God. They just make a promise so strong that it's there. Wizards having like a strength or a constitution maximum be hilarious. You had to spend so much time reading that you just never got to go outside, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't get enough sunlight, your bones are fucked because you didn't get vitamin D
Mm-hmm.
and calcium, you know? Like that is fascinating to me. A fighter not having a high depending on the subclass, I think would make sense, but not having a high wisdom or intelligence. I think skill maximums very fun for multi-classing, and something I put on myself as a player, but have never thought about relative to.
Fair.
Um, yeah, like the min maxing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm really heavy on min.
I think that's really interesting because that is such
Yeah,
a writer's way of thinking. Um, an actor's way of thinking would to be like, let me look at what is given to me, what is presented to me, and then figure out the character from that. It's like, ooh, interesting. So
Yeah.
like he has a really high
Yeah.
strength and a really high intelligence.
Yeah.
What happened there?
But yeah, how do you get both of those
Mm-hmm.
things is interesting. And also, like, I'll roll stats, put them where I want, and then be like, that's too high. That's too high for this character.
Yeah.
It's a lot of that's too high. I'm gonna drop you down. You're too good at that. You
Okay.
don't get to be
Okay.
all of those things.
I think we
They'll
are
cut that out.
talking about. We'll cut that out. We'll cut that out. We're talking about a completely different system. Let's bring it back. Caden Ramstack,
Oh yeah, card.
Bound. In 3 words or less, how was your experience playing this
Yep.
game?
Fun, sad. That's all I need.
Yeah,
I'm good. I
that's
did
less than
2.
3. That's good.
Fun, sad.
Unraveling.
Fucking nerd.
And that's all the time we have. Thank you for coming to the end of the rainbow. I hope you
Most
get
teacher's pet
yourself
answer I've ever heard.
a little pot of gold. I have been Cam. Get in the comments, get in the Discord, do the TikTok things, follow us on all the social medias. You're amazing. We love you. Thank you so much for watching this. And thank you so much for watching Guild Phantasmagoria Reincarnation. Keller, is there anything you want to plug?
I'm Keller. No.
Okay. Actually, can you do me a huge favor?
Yes.
Can you go get your aluminum foil ball and sing me a little song about the aluminum foil ball?
My aluminum foil ball. You want me to sing you
I
a little
want
song
I
about my
want a little
aluminum foil
jingle.
ball?
Yes.
A little jingle. I'm the least songy person you've ever met.
And this is how we're gonna end the entire series.
Aluminum. Are you aluminium? Or are you aluminum? I did it.
Bye.